So we're simply opening this application here called RDI, which is located on the desktop. When you double click on it, it asks you for the workspace. You click OK on the workspace, and then you let the splash screen follow through. And this is only the first time. It takes a little bit more time, but usually it doesn't take that much time. Just usually it's up in like, as you're looking at my screen, in 5-10 seconds, the environment is loaded. Let me ask one of you to start sharing your screen. So Pam, can you share your screen? And then everybody can walk through the same steps I'll be making Pam go through. Okay, is everybody ready?
Keep it on full screen, please.
So again?
Pam put the, thank you.
Yeah, okay, cool. So everybody's ready, right? Okay, now this tab that Pam opened up, it says Remote Systems. This is called Remote Systems Explorer Perspective. The beauty of this environment is that this software can actually act like many software. So for example, if we want to open database right within the software, all of you, including Pam, click on the window menu. You see the window menu at the top next to help, Pam? Yeah, click on the window menu, all of you. Go to perspective underneath show view. Okay. Now click on open perspective and click other. Okay, the dialog box didn't showed up. Try, it's just loading. Okay, here you go. Now click on database development, which is the third item from the top, and click OK. And it will now load, just give, I don't know why it's so slow. It will now load the database development perspective for you. I think, okay. On the top right corner, oh, you are, no, you're not. Look in the top right corner, you see that the gray color server? Right next to it, now you will see a blue color cylinders. Those blue cylinders which are synced in is your database development environment, okay? So if you want to switch back to the remote system, click on the gray server next to the blue cylinders. Yeah, click on it. Okay, so that's how you can switch back and forth between the environments. So if you start working with Java in this environment, then right next to it, Java will also show its own icon. So basically, that little place in the top right corner is the perspectives that you have opened in the past. And then you want to work with those perspectives. And then the same software on a single click can change the entire working environment. So everybody, please come back to the Remote Systems Explorer environment, even though later on today, we will also learn about the database environment, because that's where all your physical files will be placed, where you will be entering the data in them. Now, do you see a little gray arrow to the left of new connection on the left-hand side? Click on the arrow. Now, right-click on IBM I. When you are done right-clicking on IBM I, you should see an option. Let's wait for it to show up. A new connection option should show up when you right-click. Yes, click on, now left click on new connection. In place of the local host, type deathstar.gtc.edu. Okay. And then hit finish. These steps that I just walked you through are shown to you in your books on pages 552 and 553. Okay, now is the time to log in. So we will now expand on objects. So when I say expand, you click on the arrow to the left of objects. Okay. Then you will click on the arrow to the left of library list. Now delete the user ID and type your IBM user ID, which starts with ITPA and your 3 digits. And then tab, enter your password, make sure you turn off your caps lock. And then when you're done typing your password, click OK. Now you will notice in the list of the libraries, your library ITPA and the 3 digits also shows up. These are all the libraries that you have, and you can tell easily which one of these are system libraries because they end in sys, which one is your current library because it ends in CUR, right? Expand your current library. And that's where you will find all the objects and all the source physical files that you have created. Scroll down and that gives you the list of all the source physical files, okay? Now, how can you tell which one of them are source physical files? Yep, the one that ends in PFSRC, very good. The rest of them are objects. So after you compile, you get to see the objects. Okay, now expand on FA22, your initials A source file. That's where all your members are listed that we have completed in this class. So now double click on any one of your members. It may take a few
I got a
seconds.
question.
Just wait one few seconds, Star.
Okay.
So once your environment loads, once you double click on a member, it loads the source code right in the center. This is your equivalent to your SEU environment. And this is not the SEU environment. Rather, we call this one LPEX, Live Parser Execution Environment, okay? So this is LPEX editor. That's why it's color coded differently. And you see that everything that is in the red color is on the left. Those are the names of your record format, your fields, your R, your Ks, and then all the field lengths are in blue color, and all the data types are in green color, and all the functions are in purple color. Okay, if you go to any one of the lines, simply click on any one of the lines and click and press on your keyboard F4, function key F4, and notice that it loads the prompt at the bottom of your screen. So go ahead and click the drop-down box for R, where it says R, yeah. So you will see that it pre-populates it with R or K to be the only 2 options there. if you click on the drop-down box for data type, it will show you all the data types that you found on page 192, and probably maybe, yeah, so that's basically where they are placed. Also, when you are providing field length, you do not have to right align the field length. It will automatically right align it for you. For example, if you click on the location ID line, go ahead, click on location ID line. Just go ahead up in the source code and click on where it says location ID. Notice that your prompt automatically updated. You didn't have to press F4 again. And notice that the field length is automatically right aligned, even though when somebody would have entered it in the first place, it could have been entered left aligned. Okay, so you can close that tab which says bank location 22.pf. Okay. Okay, you can continue to share your screen. Let's get to Dar's question. Dar, what is your question?
I found the way to where you were at.
So, say that again.
I found the way that to where you were at on the screen.
Okay, okay. So you are where we are, right?
Yeah, but also
Okay.
the second question is, why can I see like everybody else's files?
Yes, but you cannot access them. Are you in Remote System Explorer? Or are you in Database Explorer, Dar?
Man, Remote System Explorer, the one with the server.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you cannot access anybody's work though. When you try to, it will deny. Okay, it will just list it as a part of the directory structure, but you can't access anybody's work. Okay, so scroll back up. Do you have any other questions?
No, that was
Okay,
it.
okay. So Pam, can you scroll up a little bit, okay, and close that ITPA 593. Okay, by clicking on that black arrow pointing downwards next to ITPA 593. One step up. Yep, that's it. Okay, that's how you can collapse. If you if you click the arrow next to library list, that will also collapse. Okay, that's great. That's how. So if you click on user libraries, that's probably what Dar might be talking about. Okay, so if you, yeah, Dar, is this what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and are you accessing your information through user library, or are you accessing your information through library list?
They were both open.
Okay, because if you are going through user libraries and then trying to locate yourself and then opening it, you're basically doing the same stuff but putting in more time, because your library list is more readily accessible to you than having to search yourself in the user libraries, because that wastes time, right? You have to scroll down and ITPA, blah, blah, blah. Are you getting that? So just access your content directly from library list. Don't go look for yourself in the user libraries. Okay, so Pamela, you can collapse the user libraries. Okay, now on the top right corner, you see those blue cylinders. Click on that. That's your Data Explorer. Now, right click on Database Connections and click New. Then delete the host and instead type deathstar.gtc.edu. Then enter your username on the next line and then enter your password. You might be wondering, why do I have to enter it twice? I already entered it before. Well, that was for Remote System Explorer. This is for a different perspective. Okay. Don't hit finish yet. Okay. I want to explain one more thing. Do you see the very last line that says connection URL? That's something I use with my Java students when I teach them how to talk to the DB2 database from Java. So that's basically where I come and grab that URL. And then, or they grab their URLs and then they use that URL to talk to the DB2. And that is the JDBC AS400 bridge. Okay, now hit now finish. Go ahead, hit finish. Okay, now on the left-hand side, expand on the det star, the one next to the blue cylinder. That's, oh yeah, that one. So whenever it's the arrow is pointing down, that means it's expanded. Okay, all of you have a schema. Schema is where all your objects are placed. Now, if don't click, okay, I'm just listen. If someone were to click on schemas, it will load everybody's schemas, and that will take a lot of time for it to do that. So to minimize the loading time, we can apply filter on schemas. And then we can work our way through so that it only selects my schema and not anybody's schema. And you don't have to do it every time. Today, we're just setting up this environment so that you could repeatedly use it whenever you come to RDI. So now right-click in schemas and you click on filter. Scroll, towards the bottom, uncheck disable filter. And then in the middle, click on the selection. Scroll down in the list at the bottom to locate your ID, ITPA 593. And then when you find it, put a little check next to it. Okay. Then hit apply and OK. Now you will see that schemas in the square bracket shows that this is a filtered schema. Click on the arrow to the left of schemas to now open schemas. And I think you might not be clicking on the arrow. Yep. Okay. Now notice it only shows you your schema. Now click on the ITPA 593 arrow. And now open tables. Yep. All your physical file objects are placed inside tables. Even your source physical files are placed inside your tables. Notice it says Fall22 PGA because PJA, Fall22 PJA, which is a source physical file, is also a data file. That's why all the data files come under tables. Now, if you click next to laptops, click on the arrow next to laptops and click on columns arrow, you can get to see all the columns with their description right here. Okay, so now you can click on the arrow again to collapse it. Click on the arrow on the laptops to collapse that. Now right click on laptops and go to data and click on return all rows. And look on the bottom right-hand side. Can you increase that little blue bar, the blue line that is right above that where your mouse is? No, yeah, the big blue line, which is a separator between the top window and the bottom window. Yeah, that one. See if you can place your mouse on it somewhere that'll, yeah, no, yep. Okay, yeah, yep, take it up, yep. Leave it there, leave it there. That's good enough. Now right click on laptops and choose data and go to edit. Okay. Now under vendor ID, put 111. So click, type 111. No, not there, at the top where it says new row, click there. Yeah, type 111, tab, put a vendor name like HP, tab, put a price, and then tab, put quantity on hand. Okay, put tab, press tab, type 112, tab, gateway, tab, put a price, tab, quantity on hand, enter. And after pressing enter, on your keyboard, press Control S to save the changes. Okay. The moment you press Control S, oh, it failed for some reason. Hold on a second. It's just not passing any values to it. Okay, come down in the third row, 111. Yeah, type 113 in the third row. Tab. Put in like HP again. Put a price. And put quantity on hand. Okay. And now hit the save button in the top left corner to see what it does. Let's see. In the top left corner, you see a blue floppy disk icon. Yeah. Yep. Click that. Yeah, actually, when we hit enter, it created a blank line and it didn't allow for a null value for vendor ID. But anyway, right click on laptops on the left-hand side under Data Source Explorer and go to data and click on return all rows. Here you go. Since we ran it twice, so that's why it inserted 5 records. Okay, now close that laptop tab. No, the tab. The tab is at the top. Yeah. No. The tab. No. The tab that reads laptops. Do you see? A tab that reads laptops, which is next to IBM RSC getting started. Yep, that tab. Close that. Correct. Yeah. Now right click on laptops again. Go to data and choose edit. Okay. Now on the very first row, right click and click delete row. And do the same on the second row. No. Hit escape. I think you might have right click on the, yeah. Now try, yeah, delete row. Okay, cool. Now hit save changes by clicking that floppy disk icon. Yeah. Yes, hit yes. Okay, so you want to delete the 2 records. Cool. Now right click on laptops again. Yep. And then go to data and return all rows. And you will now be able to see that last one there. Okay. Now close the laptops tab. Right click on laptops and data, return all rows. And then right click on laptops, go to data and click edit. Okay. So this is basically like working with DFU, data file utility, is what we are, these are the operations that we now did using the remote system, using the database explorer or data source explorer tool. If you were to go back to Remote System Explorer, how would you do that? Go back to Remote System Explorer. The Remote System Explorer is on the top right corner. Do you see a gray color computer? Yep, that's Remote System Explorer. Okay, how do you go to Data Source Explorer? Yep, click on it. So that's how you toggle back and forth between the perspectives. Does anybody have any questions about this so far? Okay, now close RDI. Close it. Yep. And click OK. Now open RDI again. And you will see that it loads much faster because the environment is already set up for you. Okay. Now it opened in the Database Explorer. How do you go to Remote System Explorer? Very good. Okay. Now open library list. Okay. It will ask you to log in again because it logs you out when you close it. Just give it a second or two. It's still loading your library list. And here you have your library list back again. Okay, now let me show you guys how to open green screen environment within RDI. So in the top 3 items, you see Death Star as the 3rd item. Right click on Death Star. And after you right click, what is the second last item? Host connection emulator. Click that. And that will open another tab in the middle of your screen. And now you can use that blue bar. Remember, I asked you to click that blue bar. Now press, bring it, push it down. Yep, that increases the font size. Now enter your username and password. And hit enter. And now you are in the green screen. Now hit enter again, okay? Now let's go to str DFU and hit enter and choose option 5, hit enter. And the data file is laptops. And hit enter and hit page down.
Wait a minute.
And you can see the data that you entered in the RDI. Yes, Dar.
So you said do SCR SEU?
No, STRDFU. D as in doctor, F as in file, U as in utility, DFU.
Okay.
And then I choose option 5.
Uh,
And then I use the name of the file that I was working with. Pam, I don't know which file you were working with. Were you working with laptops as well? So I made Pam enter laptops in the file, and then she hit enter. And now then I made her do page down, and she is able to see the record that she entered. And then you can F3 out of here and hit enter. So as you can see that these bunch of utilities are ways of accessing the data. It doesn't matter how you put the data in place. These entities just help you access the data. That's all they do. Okay. Now hit F3. F3 again, back to the main menu. Okay. If I were to create a source physical file, how will I do that? I want to create a source physical file. Nope, that's a member inside a source physical file. Nope, that's to enter data in the source, in the object. How do you create a source physical file? No, source physical file is not a utility. Only you start a utility with str. Okay, so you do not need str. You do not need str. The whole command you're typing is wrong because you only use str for a utility. To create a source physical file, you do not need a utility. How do you create a source physical file? Anybody?
Starts with CRT.
Very good. It is CRT, SRC, PF. Okay, that's how you create a source physical file. Okay, so you do everything with commands here. So if you have to create anything, you always create with the create command. If you do not know the commands, where do you go? Where do you go if you do not know the command? So for example, delete the spam. And you know that you need to create a source physical file, but you don't know the command. How will you figure that command? How do you figure out the command? Anybody? How do you, this is chapter 2 or 3, I believe. Yep. Smile put it in the comments. You always type go space major. Enter. Okay. That's one way to start. Hit F3. Now, create source physical file. The first 3 letters, create. Is that a subject or a verb?
A verb.
A verb. Okay. So you can also type go verb and hit enter. And it gives you all the verbs, and one of them is a create, which is on the next page. If you hit enter, I was like, if you hit page down, sorry, you get to see the next page, and you can see the create commands, which is line number 18, right? Okay, now don't do anything. Just look in the right-hand side. What is the name of this menu? CMD CRT. That's the name of the menu. Okay, now hit F3. All the menus are CMD followed by the verb if it's a verb, or CMD followed by a noun if it's a subject. So type go space CMD CRT. No, space. Yeah, CMD. No. Don't type space. Hit a space bar. Yeah, CMD CRT. Enter. Yeah. So this takes you directly into all the create commands. So if you page down, can you locate create source physical file command? So you need to page down till you can get to see the create source physical file. Don't you think you have went past, because now you're looking at letter T? It's not here. Hit F3 out of here. Now go to Go Subject. Enter. Page down till you can see letter F entries. And one of them, letter F. File. File 132. So type 132. Enter. Page down. Page down. Page down again. Okay, page up. Choose option 39. Do you see item number 13 there? What is the command on the right-hand side? Yep. So it was a little difficult find, but we were able to find it. We had to come through the subject, and then we were able to locate in the physical file, the create source physical file. So now F3 out of here all the way through. Okay. Now switch back to the Remote System Explorer, which is on the left-hand side. No, it's already open. It's already open. You don't, all you need to do is just on the left-hand side, where you see library list, expand on your ID, ITPA. Awesome, cool. Okay, click on it. Okay, awesome. Now it shows you a lot of stuff, right? Now, if you right click on ITPA 593, no, you on the library, not on the queue, on the library. No, on the library, ITPA 593 library. Yeah, that's your library. Okay, right click on it. And then go to expand to, okay, and click on source files. So it will now apply filter and you can only see your source files. It doesn't show you your data files. Similarly, if you want to see your data files, you right click on it and you say expand to. You right click on your library again, expand to, and then you pick data files. And it now shows you only your data files. That's where the data is placed. These are the items that after compilation, you were able to put data in it. Now, these are not your members. Go ahead, right click on it and choose expand to and choose all. And now it's everything. Okay. Now, the next step everybody will do, I will teach you how to create a source physical file in RDI. Okay. So right click on the library, ITPA 593, and click new. Notice that it knows right away that at the library level, you can only create 4 things in RSC: data area, data queue, message file, or source file. So you click on source physical file. Another beautiful thing you will notice that you don't have to type any commands. All you need to do is fill in the blanks and the command will automatically be generated for you at the bottom. For example, in the place of the file, type FA22, your initials, and then the letter B, B as in boy. And notice at the bottom, it did the rest of the command for you. Okay, so if I were to go with this and hit finish, go ahead, hit finish. Notice you now have a new source physical file, FA22 PJB. Did everybody get this? A new source physical file? Yes.
Yeah.
Smile, Nathan. Okay. So how many of you are thinking of going back to green screen?
This is so much better.
What do you think, Pam?
I like green screen because I'm used to it, but I'll get used to this eventually.
So which one do you prefer? Still green screen?
I mean, I like the color. It definitely makes it easier to read. Just have to get used to playing with it and remembering where everything is.
Okay. Nathan, what do you think?
I definitely think this is very nice to know about.
Very nice to know about. Okay. Okay, now let's start creating a member here. So Pam, can you right click on FA22PJB? Okay. And then go to new and notice, and you click member. Go ahead. Okay. Notice you don't have to type STRSEU and then press F4. You don't have to then type the name of the library and then type the name of the source physical file. Why? Because when you right clicked on the source physical file, it already knew the name of the source physical file. And since source physical files are placed in a library, it also knew the name of the library. That is why notice the first two lines are grayed out. So you don't have to enter. What you need to enter is only the name of the member. Okay. So now in place of the member name, type, let's say type World Cup, and then your initials. Okay. Now, where you see blank at the bottom, and click on the blank. Yeah. And then hit the letter P on the keyboard, P as in parent. Yep. Notice the PF is automatically typed for you in the member type. And look at the bottom, the command add physical file member. The whole command is completed for you. And then hit finish. Yeah, I didn't show this to you earlier, not to spoil you guys. Otherwise, you wouldn't have learned the green screen.
Yeah, I'm liking this better now.
Now that you are on the very first line of this physical file, okay, now press F4. Okay. And you may have to raise that blue bar at the bottom that you, yeah, a little bit so that you can see the prompt. Yep, that's good enough. Okay. Now click in the functions and type unique and make sure your caps lock is on. Yeah. And hit enter. Okay. Now in the green screen, if you had to insert a new line, what did you have to do? Go in the column area and type I1, right? You don't have to do that anymore. You go to the end of the line and hit enter, just like a text editor. Go to the end of the line and hit enter. That's it. And then the prompt automatically clears out for you. So click in the prompt and under the name type, choose R. And under the name, type RECWC for World Cup and hit enter. Go to the end of the second line and hit enter to create a third line. And we will now start listing the fields. So the name of the first field will be team ID. And in the field length, click and type 5. And then data type A. And then hit apply. Apply is in the top right corner. Yep, that's it.
How did you get that?
How did I get what?
The prompt.
Just hit F4. Press F4 on the keyboard, just like you do it in SCU. Same stuff. Just click on the line and press F4.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. So Now go to the end of the third line and hit enter. And then go back to the name and type here score. Okay, now we will not use mouse. Let's do it with keyboard. So press tab on the keyboard twice. Enter 6, tab, P. Type P and hit enter. Cool. See, you can also do it this way. If you don't want to use mouse by clicking around, you can use tab. And as you type a letter in the drop-down box, it automatically fills things for you. Okay. Now go to the end of the fourth line and hit enter. And then choose the key from the name type. From the name type. Yep. Choose key. And then in the name type, team ID. And hit enter. Okay. Now, in the top left corner, hit the save floppy disk icon. Awesome. We will wait here till everybody's caught up. Yes, is it faster, as Ismail is saying?
I can finally use Command Z.
Yeah, you can use Control Z. Absolutely. You can
Yeah,
use
Control
Control
Z.
Z. You can use, yeah, all of those shortcut keys. Absolutely. Okay.
How do you get another line on here?
Just go to the end of the line and hit enter, just like a text editor.
Oh, okay.
So let me know when you are done with all these lines, Dar, and then I'll show you guys the next step. Dar, let me know when you're done typing all 5 lines. And make sure you hit the floppy disk icon located in the top left corner, or you can also use the keyboard shortcut of Control S to save the changes. And when you are typing things and have made any changes, on the bar, on the tab, which shows the name of the member, it shows a little asterisk that shows that the changes are not saved. So when you do not see the asterisks next to the name, that means that the changes are saved.
Finished.
Okay, cool. After you're done saving the changes, since there are so many different windows open, we have to make sure that the cursor is blinking in the window where the source code is. Otherwise, the compilation doesn't know which window you want to compile. So everybody, please make sure that your cursor is blinking in the window that needs to be compiled. Okay. Now, on the top menu where you see File, Edit, Source, Compile, click the compile menu. And in the compile menu, choose the first compile. And then, since we are creating this for the first time, we will choose create PF. This is equivalent to going to strpdm and choosing option 14. Now it is compiling for me. And in the error list, it said no syntax error found. Okay, that still doesn't mean that there were no runtime errors either. So in order for me to do equivalent of display message, if you look at the bottom, there is another tab open called commands log. If you click on commands log and scroll down to the very bottom, which you are at right now, notice it says the following member was added. That means it is now an object. Did everybody get to compile it correctly? Nathan got it, Ismail got it. Dar?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, on the left-hand side where you see your library list, Pam, everybody also do the same. Right-click on it and hit refresh. Yes. And now in the list refresh, notice the World Cup PJ at the bottom of the list. You can see that it is now an object. Now let's try adding some data to it. Where would we go to add data? In the Database Explorer, right? So Database Explorer is in the top right corner, those blue cylinders. Yep. Okay, now click on the Death Star on the left-hand side, because remember we closed it, so it logged you out. So double click on Death Star and enter your password. And then when you're done with that, click OK. Expand on Death Star. Expand on schemas. Expand on your schema. Now what you're doing is you're looking at your tables and look for World Cup. So you got to scroll down and World Cup, right click on it and go to Data, Edit. Okay. And then click where it says New Row. Let's type 1, tab 30. And hit Control S. Okay, now right click on World Cup PJ in the Data Source Explorer and go to Data and return all rows. Got it, right? Okay, so this, I personally think this will shorten your development time. What do you guys think? What do you think, Pam, Dar, and Nathan?
I think it's really nice to have a more like modern setup here with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so now after you get introduced to Rational Developer for I, we will take a break. When we come back from the break, we will then tap into chapter 8 again, but this time we'll be looking at logical files. Logical files are those files that borrow the description and the data from physical files. So let's take a break here till 7:45. And when you're back at 7:45 is when we're going to start looking into logical files. So I'll see you guys at 7:45. And you can stop sharing, Pam. Thank you very much for sharing. Okay, now let me ask you to go to certain pages in the book so I can explain you a few things about logical files. So let's go back to page 328. This is what we covered last week. about arrival sequence access path and keyed sequence access path. We will start our review from there. And then moving forward, we will be also looking at the logical files. So page 328. What is the difference between ASAP and KSAP? Would anybody like to answer that question? ASAP versus KSAP. Nobody remembers that from last week? Arrival sequence and access sequence, a key sequence. We did that last week, right? Yes or no?
We did.
We did. Okay. You guys just don't remember.
I'm trying to think of a way to say it. So arrival sequence is when you're accessing a file and it goes based off when it was added or where it is on the file or where it is. And keyed sequence is based off of a key in the file.
Okay. Okay. So basically a file, like for example, the example that we created before we took the break, we promoted the team ID to a key status. And we also use the word unique so that nobody can duplicate the key value when you're entering the data. So that basically forced the key sequence when you're adding the data. That means the key field will not only allow for unique values, but will also index each and every record by the value of the key. When you do not have a keyed field, then the data is arranged in the order in which the data arrives. So there is no index. So when you're searching for a large set of data set, it will take a lot more time for you to locate a record in arrival sequence as opposed to a keyed sequence, because in keyed sequence, everything is indexed. It'll be much easier to locate a record. So just as a refresher, I will give you guys a few minutes to read through this, but I'll talk about a couple more things before I let you read some pages from the book. Page number 330. Just because specifying key fields, if you want multiple key fields to be declared, that's called composite key. That's page 330. You can see that in bold letters, composite key. And if promoting a field to a key status does not guarantee unique values. It only indexes the field. If you want unique values, then you must use the unique keyword to avoid duplicate values in the key field. Okay, now look at page 331. This is the example in which the field employee number is promoted to the key status. And with the word unique, it was made possible so that nobody can enter duplicate values in the employee name field, employee number field. When you're promoting a field to a key status, as shown on page 331, okay, you got to make sure that the field is already listed once before you can promote it to the key status. You cannot combine the two steps and try to shorten the process by putting the K next to when you're declaring it the first time. So you got to declare your field first, and only then you got to promote it to the key status. Okay. So on page 332, if you look at the bottom of that example, on page 332, you will see that multiple fields are promoted to the key status. In that case, we call it a composite key. So the access order will be like that of a telephone book with first the last name, because that is the first key, followed by the first name. Okay. So Smith Arnold will come before Smith Betty because last name is given the preference, and within the last name, then everything will be ordered by the first name. So that's what the composite key does. Okay. Now, since 2 and more people can have the same last name, therefore, the author said, instead of using unique, because that would force unique on all the last names, which would not be possible in large organizations where 2 or more employees with the same first and last names could exist, right? So that's why the combination may or may not be unique. To avoid that situation, the author used FIFO, first in, first out. That means the duplicate values can exist. However, the sequence is first in, first out, as opposed to unique. So which guarantees first in, first out retrieval of records with duplicate keys. So that means if there are 2 employees with the same first name and the same last name, then the one that was entered first will have a faster retrieval time than the one that was entered later on. Does that make sense? Okay, now I will let you guys read pages 328, pages 328 through 333. Okay. Okay. So let me share my screen to get started with logical files. Okay. Everybody can see my screen, I believe, right? Now you go down to a source physical file, which is FA22, your initials A. That is the source physical file that we've been working with. You right click on that source physical file to create a new member. Okay, once you have this screen popping up, you will type here grades 22 and your initials, grades 22 and your initials. And then where it says blank, you'll click and press the letter P, so it will directly choose PF. So the member name is grades 22. Your initials. Okay, everybody with me so far? And now hit finish. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody was saying something.
Okay, so where did you go?
I right click on the source physical file, FA22 initials A. Remember the source physical file that we have been working with, except for today, in the remote system explorer.
Oh,
I right clicked on it and I went to new member.
where is it?
Where I right click on the source physical file under the library, ITPA, whatever your 3 digits are. Did you find it?
File PF SRC.
Yep, that's one. FA22, your initials A, and that'll be a file PFSRC. Yep. Let me know when you did you find it, Dar?
Yeah.
Okay, right click on it and choose new and then choose member.
All right.
Okay, and then you'll have the screen like the one that I have on my screen. And the name of the member is grades 22 and your initials. And then the member type, make sure it is PF.
All right, now I got it.
Okay, now everybody hit finish here and you will see that the source file loads here. It's working. Okay, now when the source file loads here, let me increase my screens. Okay, cool. Now you hit F4 to bring the prompt. And we'll start building it. You guys already know how to do this stuff to this, but I'll let you just follow what I'm doing. So I'm using composite key in this example, just so that you can see an example of using multiple keys. So now, whenever you are done, save the changes. And now when you're done and you're done saving the changes, do you guys remember how to compile it? Dar, what do you think? You remember how to compile this?
It's at the top.
Yeah, direct me. Where should I click?
Press the compile button.
Compile menu.
Yeah, the menu.
Okay, and then
And go to compile and click CRTPF.
very good.
Well, for some reason it's gray on mine.
Because your insertion point is not blinking in the editor. So you got to make sure that your insertion point blinks in the editor, then you go to compile. So click in the editor and then click compile, and then it'll not be grayed out. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, now for me, it is complaining about something. I made a mistake, right? What mistake did I make? So it tells me even my errors at the bottom, right? Right here, it tells me that key field name not found. That means one of the fields that I use as a key fields is not a correct name. So if I double click on the error, it jumps directly on the line it's complaining about, right? Look at the spelling, S-T-U-I-D. What did I declare? S-T-U-D-I-D, okay? So I wanted to show you how the errors can be caught and fixed. So all I do is I click on source prompter. I add an additional D and hit enter. It gets updated, right? Come on error list. See that blue check? It tells me that you fixed it. I resave the changes. I click in the editor and I go back to compile to create PF. And this time it will compile and will tell me no errors found. So even fixing errors is much easier in this environment as opposed to in the green screen. Did anybody else make the same error as I did?
I did, but it didn't show me no errors.
Did your name up top on line 3 is STUDID? And then at the bottom it was STUID, or you have it the same on lines 3 and 8?
It was different. And it still didn't show me an error, but I changed it anyway.
And after you are done compiling it, go to commands log and scroll down to the bottom. Does it gives you the message saying the member grades 22 SY added to file grades 22? I mean, like whatever your initials in your library, does it gives you that?
Yeah.
Okay. That means your object was created successfully. That's what it means. The member converted to an object is said like this, that the member so-and-so added to file so-and-so, that the member is now part of the object in the following library. Pam, Ismail, and Nathan, everybody got this compiled correctly?
Yep.
Pam?
So I have the green check mark on the line, like after I fix the error.
Okay, now you need to recompile. You need to
Oh.
click in the editor again so that the insertion point blinks in it. Then you
Okay.
make sure that it is saved. You save the changes. You go back to compile, and then create PF. Let me know if that worked for you.
Um,
Did
then
it?
under the error list, it now says events files contain no
Right.
message.
That means there were no errors found. Now click the commands log tab at the bottom and
Mhm.
scroll down to the very first line and the very last line in the commands log.
Yeah.
Does it say the following member was added to the following object in library?
No.
No, it doesn't say that. Okay. I will stop sharing my screen. Can you share your screen?
Yep.
Okay, you still have an error in on that line. So you see the little X there, right? Can you go to your library list for me, please? Your error list for me, please? At the bottom, you have an error list tab. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, you know what? Right click on your source, right click on your library, ITP 593,
Okay.
and refresh. Okay. Do you see grades 22 PJ?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, yeah, right click on it and hit delete. Yeah, hit delete. Cool. And now right click on your library and refresh. Okay. Actually, the object was already created. So that's what's complaining about, that the object already exists. So you cannot recreate an object that already exists. Okay. Now click anywhere in the source code and now go to compile, and create PF. Okay, that's fine. Now it was created successfully. You're fine. You're all good.
Okay, and I just ignore that little
Yeah.
box with the X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, can you guys see my screen again? Now, let's make some changes to an existing object and recompile it, but using a different approach. So go to the end of line number 2 and hit enter to create a blank line. Go to the end of line 2 to create a blank line. In the source prompter, add an additional field. So I added an additional field called offer ID. And let me even add a text function so that you know how to add the text function. So this is what goes on this new line. So I went to the end of the new second line, hit enter to create a blank line. I hit F4, and then this is what I put in the prompt. And I pressed enter on it for it to show up on the screen. Then I'll go to the second last line where I have student ID, my key field. I will change it to offer ID to be my key field. So I'm changing my key. Now I need to delete the very last line. To delete a line, you go to the column area where it says 0000900. You type D1 and enter. D1 and hit enter to delete a line. Just like you do it in SEU. Then you are to save the changes, click in the editor, click the compile menu, compile, but this time you will not choose create PF. The reason is that the object already exists. So you will now choose change PF because you want to compile an existing object and change it to the new specifications. So you will click on change PF. It should come back. If you check your commands log, scroll down to the bottom, it will tell you that the object has been changed. Okay, everybody got this? If you could please confirm, so then I can take you to the next step. So Nathan is done, okay. Smile. Okay. Pamela and Dar.
I'm trying to figure out because I added extra lines. So I'm trying to figure out how you delete those. You want me to share again?
Yes. Okay. Now go to the line 000104.
Okay.
Click on the leftmost zero and type D2. Enter. Okay. Now go down to the very last line and type D1 in the column area of the last line. So yeah, click on the leftmost zero. Yep, and type D1. Enter. Okay, cool. Now save the changes. Click anywhere in the editor. Click the compile, and change PF.
Come on, sorry.
Then check your commands. Oh, you still have some errors. Oh, can you click on line 102? Okay, now press F4. Okay, where you see under functions text, right? You never leave a space after the word text and the parentheses. To delete the space, enter, save changes, click in, yeah, save changes, click in the editor, and then compile again.
And change.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now go to commands log, scroll to the bottom, and says the following object was changed. Good.
Woohoo.
Okay, now with that done, now let's start adding some data to it. So we will click on the database development icon. I know you guys might already be signed in, and I need to sign in because I did not. Oh, probably, yeah, no, I'm fine. Okay, so go down to tables and locate this grades object. Initials, SY, and data and edit. So I will click on edit and let me add some data here.
All right, I'm sorry. You're going too fast. I'm losing you. So where do you go on once you're at database connections?
Once I am in the database connections, I open my schemas, my ID, then I went under tables. Then I right clicked on the grades. And this is the same step I went over before, and then edit. Remember with the laptops that you
Yep.
did?
It's just different now watching you versus you.
Oh,
trying- that's all.
okay.
So I was under tables and then we're going.
And then you right click on the grades, 22 initials, and then you go to data and click edit.
See, my grades is gone because you had me erase that before.
Say it again.
The grades?
You don't have grades listed there under tables?
No, because it went away when you had me delete it when I was.
Oh, okay. Why don't you go to the tables and right click and refresh? Scroll up to the tables, right click and hit refresh and see if it appears. Did you get it?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have grades either.
Okay. You want to share your screen, Pam? And then I'll ask Dar to share his screen if it's not
Okay.
fixed.
You seem tired.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm good.
See, and then my little arrow went away by table.
Oh, okay. Right click on your library and refresh.
I got my library
Uh-huh.
here.
Okay. Now open your tables.
There we go.
Oh, your table. Okay. Strange. Okay. Right click on Death Star and refresh to see if you can, because somehow it is acting funky. Okay. Now see if you can open schemas. And Dar, you have the same problem? No.
No, I can open up tables. It's just that
Okay.
I don't see grades in here.
Okay. Pam, what I would recommend you close RDI. Just close the RDI.
Up here.
Yeah. And reopen it. Click OK. And then reopen it. Okay. And Dar, did you try refreshing your tables
Yep.
and still does not show you? Okay. Why don't you close RDI also, Dar, and open it again? Smile and Nathan, do you guys see grades there?
No, I didn't. I'm refreshing Death Star right now.
Okay. Smile. Oh, you have the same issue as Pam. Okay. Let's try now again. Pam, double double click on Death Star and enter your password. And then open Death Star, open schemas, open your library and open tables. Yep. Okay. Here it is. Cool. Awesome. You don't need to expand grades. Just right click on it and go to data and then choose edit. Okay, I will, you can stop sharing. I will share mine once I make sure that everybody else can also see it.
So did you just close, did you close the app and then reopen it? Is that what you-
Right, that's all. I closed the app, reopened it, went back to the Data Explorer, Database Explorer, and then just, it basically let me log in again. And then I just followed my tree through all the way to the tables. Smile, did that solve your problem when you closed and reopened it? And how about you, Dar? Is it working for you now? Can you see it now?
No,
No, still can't
Mhm.
see it?
still can't see it. I'm going to the command prompt, see if this actually did it right.
Dar, can you share your screen with me, please?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's have a look at it. Okay. You already closed the Eclipse and you opened it once, right? I mean, like you already closed the RDIA and opened it again, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you click the compile? Oh, no, not compile, sorry. Do you see ITPA 402 on the left-hand side of your library? Yeah, right click and refresh. Enter your password. Turn off your caps lock. No. Okay. It is now loading your list. Okay. Scroll. Okay. Scroll down. Okay. I don't see grades anywhere. Can you scroll back up a little bit and right click on your library?
This.
Yeah. And go to expand to and click all files. Okay. Now click where it says grades 22 DS. No, in the source code, click the source code. Okay. Now click compile, and click create PF, create PF. Okay. Now can you check your commands log? Scroll to the bottom. Okay, now it is there. Okay, cool. Now switch to the Data Source Explorer. Okay. And right click on tables and refresh. Okay, now right click on grades. I think the compilation never went through for you before. Go to data and click edit. And that's where I am right now. I'll share my screen again once I can make sure. Nathan, do you got it? You can stop sharing yours.
I see. I didn't realize I have an error. The events file contains no messages.
Yeah, that's not an error, it's a warning. Go to commands log and scroll down to the bottom to see if it tells you that your object was created or not.
Okay, it says it was added to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now go to your Data Explorer and go under tables to see if you can see grades.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, Ismail, did you get it?
Okay, I see it now.
Okay, cool. Smile, I don't know. Smile, can you hear me? It's not showing. Okay. Did you recompile it? Smile, can you share your screen or no? See, I mean, like, that's why I tell people, you can actually sign on multiple times also, you can sign, like Pam has signed twice for that reason. So you can sign in from both machines if you want. And that way, if I can't, I mean, I am limited to helping you guys if I can't see your screen. So that's why it's very important for you to sign on to Zoom where you can share your screen. So can you sign into both machines on Zoom? Yeah. Do that because, otherwise I'm very limited. I mean, like with words, I can only help so much. If I see it, I can help more. Okay, see, there are errors. So your object is not compiling correctly because it is, if you scroll up in the commands log, a little bit in the commands log at the bottom, there's a scroll bar. Hit the top scroll bar. Yeah, that guy. Yep. Stop. It says that the grades 22 IC in library was not found. That means it was never created as an object. So you need to go back to compile menu and go to compile and try create PF. Oh, you have to click in the source code first. Yeah. And then go to compile, and click create PF. Okay. Okay. Seems like, go back to commands log and look at the very last line. Okay. Now seems like it is added. So basically what was happening was you never created in the first place and you were trying to change it. So it was giving you an error. That's why it was not showing, because it never existed. So it never got changed. So now if you go to your data explorer, data source explorer, and now if you right click in tables and refresh, you should now be able to see it in the list. And you right click on grades IC and go to edit, data edit. Awesome. Okay, I'll share now. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm adding some data here. So I added a couple records and I'm adding one more. When you're done adding data, all you do is you hit Control S or hit the floppy disk icon for it to run the data and add it to the physical file. Let me know when you guys are done with that. You can right click on the grades. And then you can go to return all rows and you should be able to see the result set on the right-hand side in the bottom right corner. Let me know in the chat or through the reaction that you are done with this so that I can go to the next step, because we have a few minutes left to the class time and I really want to get to creating at least one logical file. So we got Nathan, Ismail done, waiting for Dar and Pamela.
How do you delete a line again?
Say it again.
How do you delete a line on here?
How do I delete a line?
Yeah.
You right click on a line and choose delete.
Okay, there we go. And just
And then
enter
and then you save the changes.
save changes.
And then when you save the changes, that's when it completes the delete operation.
One or more rows from whatever will be removed.
Yeah, hit yes, of course. You want to delete it, that's why you want to hit yes on it.
That's it.
Yep. Pam, are you caught up with entering data and saving it?
Well, I have it all entered, but when I save it, it's saying it's failed, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Okay, if it failed, why don't you right click on the grades 22 initials and see if it return all rows to see if it returns anything or if it's an empty file.
Okay. And I get the check mark next to status success, return all rows.
So do you see any data? Or is it empty?
In the box on the right there,
Yeah.
result, I see my first two lines, my third line's not showing up. In
Okay,
that.
so probably a third line errored out, so that's why it's not showing for you. And that's basically what it is. Anyway, even with the two lines, we can work on the logical file.
Okay.
Okay, so I will ask everybody to go to the Remote System Explorer again. As you can see on my screen, I'm in Remote System Explorer. And in the Remote System Explorer, I will right click again on Fall 22 initials A and go to New Member. I'll call this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I already have 10. Okay, so I'll call this one GRD 22 initials. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. LF1, logical file 1. Okay. GRD 22 initials LF1. And now in the type, make sure you choose LF. Don't use PF, don't choose PF. Do not leave it as RPG. Make sure you choose LF in the type. When you're done with that, all you need to do is hit finish. And this member will show up exactly the same way. Exactly the same way your member will show up as it was in the physical file. Okay. Now you got to press F4 to bring the prompt. You'll have your record format. You will give the same record format name as your physical file. So the physical file record format name for me was REC grade. I'll give the same name here. REC grade. In the functions, as we learn on page 335, I will type P file, and I'll write the name of my physical file, which is grades 22 initials. Remember, do not leave a space between the parentheses and the letter E of P file. It has to all go together as one. No single quotes either, just like that. Grades 22 initials. That's it.
Okay, I'm on the source member thing, and what type of member did you put in?
Put the member type LF for logical file.
Gives me an error saying it already exists.
Share your screen, Dar. That way I will be able to help you better. Okay, click OK. Okay, you got to change the name of the member. See, you're using the same name as before.
Oh,
Okay, so I choose GRD 22 initials LF1. Okay, now hit finish. Okay, now hit F4. You can stop sharing and I'll share my screen. Okay, so basically in the prompt, you choose R in the record name, in the record type, in name type, put the same record name as your physical file. And in the functions area, you use the function P file and write the name of your physical file, which you are tapping into to borrow the data. Save the changes. Save the changes. Click anywhere in the logical file and compile. And notice logical files are created. You cannot change them. To change them, you have to first delete them and then you can recreate them, but you cannot change them. So that's why you need to go to compile, create LF. It will come back with no errors. In the commands log, check to make sure that everything is done. It will tell you that the following logical file was created. We may have to go a couple minutes over class time, guys, because I really want to complete this example. So did everybody get this to compile correctly? Smile got it. Okay. Nathan, is that a check from now or before? Okay, Pamela got it. Okay, Dar got it. Okay.
From before, but I got it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now let's go back to the database development environment and let's scroll back up and close the tables because the logical files don't go in tables. Logical files go under views. So open views and look for that. One second. Let me refresh. Sorry. Right click on views and refresh. And here you have your grad 22. If you right click on views and refresh, and now right click on grad 22, go to data and return all rows. And you will be able to see everything that you entered in the physical file, in the logical file. So this was just one example I wanted to do with you guys to show you that if your record format name between the logical and physical file is exactly the same, that's an indicator to the logical file that you want to borrow everything and display. Okay. We will learn more about it as to why you want to do it, but next time, because we are running out of time today. We actually ran out of time today. So, but I wanted to at least do one example with you to show you that how a logical file can borrow from physical file. In this particular case, it borrowed everything because it used the same record format name. Okay. Now this week's homework assignment is very different from the previous weeks. So this week's homework assignment, if you go down to unit number 8, you have one quiz. And in the homework assignment, all I am asking you to do is go to page 331, which is figure 8.1. All I want you to do is redo this example in RDI and give me the screenshot that you have done it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so just redo this example from the book in RDI as a practice on your own to see that you can create a member in RDI within an existing source physical file, and you're able to compile it successfully. You can check in the commands log that the member was created successfully. You do not need to add any data to it, but if you want to do it for your practice sake, you can do that. But I'm not asking you to do any data entry. Just I want you to be able to practice to create something on your own in the RDI. Any questions before we adjourn? Nathan, Pam, Dar, everybody is good?
I'm good.
Okay, guys, then that's all for tonight. And I'll see you, some of you later this week and the others next week. Good night. Have fun with RDI.
Have a good week.
Good night.
Night.